Why are there so many shows starring Muppets and dozens of movies too? They said they'd watch everyone and they mean it. It's something that they've got to do. So now they pledge you a lifelong commitment. The Muppets, Matthew and Sam.
Welcome to Commitment, the podcast where two friends have vowed to watch all things Muppets. I'm Matthew Gatos.
And I'm Sam Schultz.
And this week we are continuing our journey through 1984. And specifically, we're diving into October of 1984 with 3 more episodes from the first season of Muppet Babies. And those are the episodes titled Raiders of the Lost Muppet, Scooter's Hidden Talent, and The Case of the Missing Chicken. So everyone's talking about it, Sam. Not by the time this podcast comes out, but right now, currently, in our daily lives. Barbenheimer.
Yeah, that comes out tomorrow from when we're recording.
Some people, as we are recording, some people are seeing it right now, today. When are you seeing those movies?
I'm seeing it next, not this current weekend, but next weekend.
Oh, wow. I'm going to use my summer Friday tomorrow. We get off early on Fridays.
Bro,
and I'm going to go
really nice.
Yeah, I'm going to go see Oppenheimer by myself in IMAX on a nice chill Friday afternoon.
Air conditioning, it's going to be like 100 degrees outside tomorrow. You're going to be, wow. And then are you going to see Barbie soon thereafter or what?
We're seeing Barbie. My wife wants to see that one.
Yeah.
We're seeing that at 9 a.m. on Saturday.
That's fine. That's great.
Oh, yeah. No, it's fine. It works out perfect for us. I don't know that I've ever seen a movie at 9 a.m., though. And it was one of those things where we had looked for, like, the earliest time over the weekend, and at one point, it was like a 10:45 show. And then I guess it was so popular, they've added more times now.
Oh, interesting.
So we were able to get a 9 a.m. showing. So by midday Saturday, I will have seen the Barbenheimers.
I'm not sick of the meme of Barbenheimer. I think it's funny because I heard you saying the other day, like, other movies have come out on the same day before.
Yeah.
It's actually very common for multiple movies to come out on Thursdays and Fridays, like, in a big chunk.
And specifically, if you look back on, when big movies come out, the only other things that typically come out on the weekends where other, like, big action movies come out are vastly different kinds of movies. Like, they'll release like a big kids movie the same day as they'll release like a big R-rated horror movie or something like that, because it's like, yeah, these are different audiences. We're not worried about, stepping on toes here. So this kind of thing happens quite often, but something about the mixture of Barbie and Oppenheimer, people were just like, yes, give me all of the memes.
I think it's got, like, the directors is probably part of it because, like, movie aficionados are like, oh, 2, like, interesting directors directing 2, like, kind of weird movies for them. So that, like, must have started it. But yeah, it's great.
It is.
I think it's good for the world.
I think it's good for Oppenheimer.
I think it's great for Oppenheimer. Yeah.
Oppenheimer is getting a much broader audience than they would have gotten otherwise. Yeah. And a lot more people talking about that movie than ever talked about Tenet.
It's funny to see that, like, Christopher Nolan was mad about them coming out the same day. When it's like, guy, please. Don't like a gift horse in the mouth, man.
He strikes me as a man who is not online that much.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
So when asked about a meme at a press junket, he's like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah. He must also be kind of a crank. I feel like he must be kind of a crank because I feel like whenever you see a report about him, it's like, Christopher Nolan fires back at so-and-so. Christopher Nolan upset over so-and-so. So it just seems like he must always be really worked up.
I mean, I feel like it's because people keep asking him questions about things he doesn't care about.
I guess so.
Hey, what did you think of this BuzzFeed article about which movie are you, Oppenheimer or Barbie? Do you want to take the test? What's BuzzFeed? Oh, I'm sorry, sir, you're leaving.
What if it came out it was Barbie? That would be interesting.
That'd be fantastic. He doesn't strike me as a Barbie, but we won't know unless he takes the test.
We don't know what's inside the heart of any man, do we?
Is that the tagline for Oppenheimer?
That's the tagline for The Spirit. Or no, The Shadow. Remember that movie?
Red Tie?
No, that's The Spirit.
Well, shit.
I confused you. The Shadow is
Alec Baldwin?
Alec Baldwin.
Okay, that's the older one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Around the same time, but both based on like...
No, vastly different times.
You know what I'm thinking of? The Phantom.
Oh, no. Well, we're not here to talk about those 3 movies no one has seen today. We're here to talk about a children's show from 1984. So, Sam, why don't you tell the people what we watched this week?
First, we watched Raiders of the Lost Muppet, which aired October 6th, 1984. The babies are playing hide and seek with Fozzie doing the seeking. He completely fucks up and can't find anyone, and when he declares that he gives up, everyone is accounted for except Baby Animal. The babies freak out that Nanny will punish them horribly for misplacing Animal, so they start looking, quickly deducing that Animal is not in the playroom. So, much to my surprise, the babies venture out of their room and into Nanny's very hallway-heavy home. And they split up and search for Animal. Kermit, Piggy, and Fozzie end up in the basement, which to their baby brains looks like the Temple of Doom. So their imaginations take over, and quickly they are face to face with Mola Ram himself, and then they all run around and ride minecarts and stuff to escape him. Eventually they end up in a pyramid and open a sarcophagus to find a mummy that bears a striking resemblance to Baby Animal, but does not, I guess, end up being Baby Animal.
We can talk about this more, but I had a theory when that happened of where this episode was going. And then it just didn't. And I was like, oh, all right. It doesn't bug me, but it's weird that happened.
Yeah. So then the rest of the babies, they're off looking in some plants, which to them become a jungle. But they can't find Baby Animal either. So they decide that they have to come clean and tell Nanny. But when they go to her living room to do so, they find her sitting and watching TV with Baby Animal. Oh, dear. Next, we watched Scooter's Hidden Talent, which aired on October 13th, 1984. While having a big family breakfast, the babies overhear Nanny on the phone talking to Mr. Carruthers, who I assume is Officer Carruthers, but maybe he got fired from the police force because he was too sleepy.
He kept oversleeping through his alarm and
noisy
got fired.
Babies. Yeah.
Now he's just delivering newspapers to them in the mornings.
Yeah, he had to hand in his gun and his badge. Anyway, he wishes her happy birthday, and the babies flip because they forgot Nanny's birthday, or they have never been confronted with the idea that Nanny could have a birthday, depending on how old they are. So they run to the playroom to make her a gift. Eventually, they settle on making her an exercise bike so she can exercise even when it's raining. All the babies use their various talents to make the bike and a birthday card, all except Scooter. He doesn't know how to help at all. So they give Nanny her gift, and she pretends like it's not an exercise bike made out of garbage by baby cartoon characters. It's all too much for Scooter, who starts crying and declares himself talentless. Nanny says, there, you must have a talent. I don't know what it is, and I'm not going to help you find
Bye.
it. But surely you have to have one. And then pieces out to ride her shitty exercise bike. All the babies try to help Scooter figure out what he's good at. Is he good at music like Rolf? Nope. Is he good at painting like Leonardo da Vinci? Nope. Is he good at inventing stuff like Bunsen and Beaker? Not that either. Scooter's life is in shambles when Nanny comes in and says, hey, this bike made of toys and splintered wood does not work at all. The babies try to fix it, but they can't, and that is when Scooter remembers that he's insanely good at using his computer. So he makes a model of the exercise bike and runs tests on it to figure out what's wrong. Then he just easily fixes the bike. And he probably thinks to himself, oh yeah, I'm the smart one, and you're all really stupid.
It's in the theme song, I forgot.
That's what I was going to say. An alternate way to solve this would be for him to pay attention to the theme song where they all declare what they're good at the beginning of every single episode.
I got my computer. Boom, You nailed it.
Yeah, he just didn't look in that corner for like 15 minutes and forgot. Finally, we watched The Case of the Missing Chicken, airing October 20th, 1984. The babies are playing circus, but when that devolves into anarchy and the dust settles, Gonzo is missing Camilla, his stuffed chicken doll. Gonzo immediately loses his grip and starts blaming all of his friends, even pressuring poor Fozzie into a false confession. Gonzo pretends he's James Bond for a really long time, which is basically just a very roundabout way for him to blame Piggy for stealing Camilla. After blaming and alienating all his friends, Gonzo starts packing up his things so he can search the world for her, and while doing so, he finds her in his drawer. Gonzo then accuses his own self of stealing Camilla and starts beating himself mercilessly. Also in October 1984, on October 9th, Thomas the Tank Engine premiered in the UK.
Hell yeah.
On a date I didn't bother to put down for some reason, the Talking Head concert film Stop Making Sense is released, and that's it. There's nothing to do in October 1984 except watching the Muppet Babies, I guess.
Go trick-or-treating eventually.
Start building your costume. You don't have time to go to the movies or anything. And the people know that, who make movies and stuff.
Well, elsewhere in the Muppet world in October 1984, I checked in on Jim's Red Book to see what he was up to. October 1st and 2nd, 1984, he wrote VTR, next 3 Muppet home video raps.
Not like rapping raps.
No,
Like
no.
WRAP.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like no more, please, no more.
No, the wraparound videos for the compilation tapes they would be putting out soon that are like sort of best of Muppet Show things, but instead of just putting out a best of Muppet Show, they filmed some interstitial segments with the Muppets to discuss what was coming up. And to be fair, I haven't watched them yet. We do, I think, have access to most, if not all of them, to watch, thankfully.
Yeah, recently unearthed, I believe.
Yeah, or at least recently handed to us. Next, on October 9th, 1984, he wrote Lunch, Chris, Michael, Henry Beard, Stupid Flakes. So clearly, this was a meeting they must have had over lunch to discuss the Stupid Flakes, which are the breakfast cereal that they would eventually put out with the Swedish chef on the cover.
That became called Crunchy Stars? Or
Yes.
Stupid Flakes were real too?
No. They were initially going to be called Stupid Flakes. They became Crunchy Stars. That didn't come out until 1988. So they were trying to get these off the ground for a while, it seems like.
Stupid Flakes is a much better name for them, I think.
It is funnier to imagine somebody going to the grocery store and saying, hey, give me some Stupid Flakes.
Yeah, a little kid being like, I want Stupid Flakes. I want Stupid Flakes.
Stupid Flakes will make your kids stupid. Buy them today. Apparently, other names considered were Oopel Saucies, Crunchy Poofs, Muppets, and Stupid Flakes.
Crunchy Stars, I think, is the weakest of those. Because stars I do not associate with the Swedish chef at all.
No, but it's probably a cheap cereal piece to get made.
They probably already existed somewhere.
Yeah,
that's true.
Maybe we'll do try to somehow. I don't think you can get a box of these, but if we ever can track them down, maybe we can do like a crossover episode with the empty bowl, and be like, "Hey, let's review Crunchy Stars as a
I would
cereal."
eat some really old cereal.
Absolutely, I would. Not a chance I wouldn't eat these things. But on Muppet Wiki, there is some early box cover like mock-ups, and one of them shows Stupid Flakes. My favorite thing about that is you see the branding they put on it says, clam proof, dropped from ladders, free
great.
piece of genuine plastic junk inside.
Ah, it's so good because it is like, I love how he's pouring the milk and he's not hitting the bowl at all. That's pretty good too.
I feel like there's probably some legality issues with the language you can put on a cereal box.
But it's just such a good gag that is totally lost with Crunchy Stars. With Crunchy Stars, it becomes the thing it's making fun of.
This is true. They did eventually, though, on one of the boxes of Crunchy Stars, have stupid games on the back of it that you could play.
They got it in there eventually.
Which there was a Connect the Dots that is very clearly a star from before you even start doing it. There's a star maze, which is just a straight line. And there's eating instructions, which just say place cereal in bowl, remove from box first, pour milk into bowl, place spoon in bowl, place cereal on spoon, place spoon in mouth, place teeth in cereal, repeat repeatedly. Seems like a fantastic product that I know is on the table in one scene in the Muppets Mayhem. Then on October 9th through 12th, 1984, Jim wrote that he was shooting some Sesame Street inserts. So this was the time of the year when he and Frank obviously were in recording their parts of the upcoming season 16 of Sesame Street. This is the season where the adults will first start to acknowledge the existence of Mr. Snuffleupagus.
Whoa, we're already there? It felt like we'd never get there.
We have, in season 16 is when some of them start to see him and believe for sure that he's there. And then I don't remember if this is the season where everyone meets him or if that's season 17, but it's coming up soon, thankfully. Then on October 15th, 1984, Jim wrote, George Pal Fantasy Lecture at Academy, L.A., Shoot Me into the Night. So this is a couple different things happening, all lumped into one day, apparently. He went out to L.A. to make a presentation at the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences as a part of this George Pal Fantasy Lecture Series. So basically, he was going out to give a lecture on fantasy filmmaking. There was a flyer that said, Mr. Henson in discussion of fantasy and film, using his own work in the movies as a springboard for discussion. So, yeah. He's going to show off clips from things like Timepiece, some Sesame Street animated things, some clips from the Muppet movies, and The Dark Crystal, as well as clips from Dream Child.
I'd love to hear him talk about Timepiece at this point. He's probably been thinking about it so hard for like couple decades.
It's also like Finally, no one can stop me from talking about the editing here. There's no Dick Cavett here to yell at me.
No host or moderator to cut me off.
The other part of this is that Jim was also out there to shoot a small cameo in the John Landis movie Into the Night.
I don't know that one.
Me neither. I have not seen this. I have not seen Jim's cameo in this. Obviously, we'll have to check out at least the brief clip at some point. I don't know if this film is good enough to earn its way into an episode of the podcast. But Jim apparently is seen talking on the phone to Bernie, the only person that Muppets ever talked to on the phone. And he is forced off the phone so that the actual lead characters in the film can make a call. Then on October 18th, 1984, Jim writes, "Shoot test, Labyrinth, London." So he's back in London. The script was still in development at this point, and the humans had not been officially cast, but they were working on creating the puppets and creatures for this movie. And the purpose of these tests was to determine the size of Ludo, Hoggle, and Sir Didymus in relation to the humans. So they made mock-ups of the three characters and took them to EMI Studios, where they shot them alongside people. But that is it for what Jim Henson was up to in October of 1984. I want to bring up something real quick. You made a good point. In these batch of episodes, we get to see outside of the baby's room multiple times. We see hallways, we see Nanny's little TV room, we see the kitchen, and the basement.
Obviously not something they're afraid to show. We're not going to be stuck in the playroom the whole time.
No, not a prison.
That did make me feel better. Yeah, that they walked out. The hallway's a little creepy, but then...
Definitely some Scooby-Doo vibes happening in that hide-and-seek episode.
I like her kind of gridded wallpaper. I think that's interesting. Very 80s kind of old lady house. Is she an old lady, you think?
She sounds like an old lady.
Yeah, she's out there jogging, I guess. Do old ladies jog?
I mean, they want to keep it tight.
She is keeping it tight.
I mean, I don't know if anyone has speculated about how old Nanny is supposed to be. I'd put her in her 50s. That'd be my guess. Like, not quite 60s maybe, but maybe in her 50s.
It is hard to know without knowing actually, like, what the fuck is going on with her.
Yeah, I think maybe through the years we'll hear a bit more of, like, maybe Nanny will say, like, oh, my granddaughter is coming to visit. And we'll be like, okay, gotta redo some math maybe. But yeah, for right now, all we really have to go off of is Barbara Billingsley being the voice, who obviously, you know, was older at this time.
She's a Leave It to Beaver mom, is that right?
Yes, she played June Cleaver on Beavis to Beaver? Nope.
Beavis and Lever.
Beavis and Lever. No, yeah, she played June Cleaver on Leave It to Beaver.
Which one of us is Beavis and which one of us is Lever?
I hardly know her.
Beavis and you're a Lever. Lever sounds like somebody who'd invent a tool or something to get me out of to get like a honeypot off my head or something.
But it is interesting that I know in the new Muppet Babies, Nanny is performed by Jenny Slate, so a younger Nanny.
Yeah, that one looks less like they're in a prison in general, though.
They play outside a lot.
A lot of outside.
They're mostly outside.
Do they even is it like as heavily imagination-based as the old one?
It is, but obviously they don't use film clips. So It's all...
They learned from their mistakes.
Yeah, they're like, we want to be able to sell this later on down the line. Not use movie clips from a movie that came out 6 months before, which is wild.
That is crazy. I did write down while I was watching it. It is a pretty good trick. You don't have to animate anything. You just use this many film clips.
But it is... Yeah, and nowadays they do like full CGI environments, and they're just suddenly they're on a pirate ship sailing through the sky kind of thing.
Right.
Getting back to this Muppet Babies, how you feeling, Sam? Last time, I think you called this show pure evil?
I think Scooter's Secret Talent was the closest one to pure evil this time. Raiders of the Lost Muppets was stupid, but at least it had like a lot of weird stuff going on. Mm-hmm. And I actually genuinely pretty much liked the Lost Chicken one. And I have a question maybe I can ask you when the time is right.
All right.
But I really like Baby Gonzo. I think Baby Gonzo works really well.
Yeah.
Basically because he is kind of just Gonzo.
There are a couple times throughout this batch specifically that I noticed that Baby Gonzo's performance is very, very strong.
Yeah, he's like the funniest one. I don't remember who's playing Baby Gonzo, but him and Baby Rolf are just like, I like them.
Yeah, it's Russi Taylor who's also Martin Prince and Sherry and Terry on The Simpsons.
Oh, right.
And Minnie
Is that
Mouse.
Rolf too? Is it the same person?
No, Rolf is performed by Katie Lee.
So my question is, which Muppet Baby do you hate most compared to their adult form and vice versa?
Okay, so this is taking into account like a Muppet that I typically enjoy that I don't enjoy their baby version.
Yeah, I think there's a really easy answer to this personally.
I've got it down to 2 in my head.
Interesting. Okay.
I think it's Fozzie.
Absolutely. Fuck. Baby Fozzie fucking sucks. I hate Baby Fozzie. He's so annoying.
The problem is they made him annoying and stupid.
Yeah, he's so stupid.
They made him the naive one. I thought they were maybe going to get away from that whole joke format of he says nonsense and everyone goes, what? And he's like, never mind. But they do it once in this batch.
In this batch, yeah. It doesn't happen every episode, but it does happen again.
Yeah. For instance, there's a time that it doesn't matter when it comes up, but I want to, talk about it right now because we're talking about this. It's in the first episode. At one point, he's worried about Nanny going to punish them. And I wrote it down because of the words he says. Says, Nanny's going to punish us. She'll put me in a jar full of centipedes and make me do push-ups until my brain turns to toothpaste.
It's just like monkey cheese bullshit.
It feels like someone just wrote a word cloud on a board and threw darts and was like, yeah, so jar, centipede, brain, toothpaste.
Yeah.
Go.
Fozzie would have done well if he was growing up when there was like Newgrounds and he could have made like random internet cartoons, you know?
Though I feel like we should have done a better job of tracking this. Waka Waka is fully his catchphrase.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Like we talked about how it was not on the Muppet Show, that he said it like once in all of the Muppet Show.
Yeah.
And now he's saying it every 2 minutes on Muppet Babies.
Well, he does say it in the Muppet movie, right?
He says it once? Yeah. I think once when in the little stand-up thing. But I don't remember the full lineup, but this feels like the most prominent use of Waka Waka that we've heard so far.
This must be what popularized Waka Waka. This
which is
must
wild.
Be why people are why everybody's just like, which doesn't make any damn sense. How on earth did that happen? That's the only word you associate with Fozzie Bear, basically. I mean, this must be freaking Muppet Babies.
Must be.
Parents heard Muppet Babies in the background. Kids watched Muppet Babies. Probably kids started telling jokes and then going, Waka Waka.
Yeah, I'm curious if he says it at all in Muppets Take Manhattan. Like, I didn't clock it, but I also don't feel like I'm going to catch a Waka Waka at this point because I've heard Waka Waka throughout my entire life so many times that it doesn't stand out to me as
He's not
words
like
that are
comedian coded in Muppets Take Manhattan. Though.
Right, which is maybe why he wouldn't say it. But I feel like he could, he could potentially crack a bad joke in that movie and say it afterwards. Like, hey, right, guys?
I still think it'd be less galling if Baby Gonzo was the one who said the rando stuff. Because he's a weird guy. Mm-hmm. But Baby Fozzie just doesn't work for me because he's not sad. Like, Fozzie's one of my favorite Muppets because he's just so human, but he's such a dumb, annoying baby.
I do want to confirm before we move on, I looked up the script to Muppets Take Manhattan, and it is referenced in there only once when Kermit is getting his letters from his friends.
Oh.
The letter from Fozzie says, Dear Kermit, waka waka waka. But seriously, I'm in Maine. My job didn't turn out too terrific.
But he only has said Waka Waka like 4 times in the history of Fozzie Bear before that.
And I don't think he says it in that part. I think Kermit's still reading the letter at the beginning, and then it transitions into Fozzie talking maybe.
What is going on here?
When did Fozzie say Waka Waka?
I'm more interested in when people started thinking Fozzie said Waka Waka. How did that enter the public consciousness without... I mean, maybe, here's a theory. Maybe he said it a lot in the bumpers, like, watch the Muppet Show this afternoon, Waka Waka.
Yeah.
Maybe he was saying it all the time then or something.
Yeah, well.
Who knows?
Just got to get a bunch of really old people in here and be like, hey, when did you first hear Waka Waka?
Really old people with really good memories.
Yeah. What's her face?
Oh, no. Matt, I'm not going to know, but try.
The lady who has the photographic memory, who's very famous. I think maybe she's on Star Trek. What actress has a photographic memory? Mary Lou Henner, who I don't think was on Star Trek. She's one of those people who can like remember like her third birthday party. We'll call up Mary Lou Henner and ask her when the first time she heard Waka Waka was. But for now, we'll talk about Muppet Babies. Specifically, the first episode, Raiders of the Lost Muppet, from October 6, 1984. Like all of these, I'm pretty sure, they're written by Jeffrey Scott and directed by John Gibbs. They don't all have credits on Muppet Wiki, is the problem. They all say written by Jeffrey Scott, but the director is not always listed. So this one did say directed by John Gibbs. So did some of the previous ones. I don't know about all of them. IMDb sometimes credits Jim Henson as being a part of that equation, and I don't believe he was. So
I couldn't see Jim sitting down and being okay with
I got
this
this great joke about centipedes in a jar. You guys gotta put it in.
I just can't shake the feeling that this is like, it's not jumping the shark exactly, but this is the moment where he has sold out the most, I feel like.
That's possible, but I also think this is one of the smartest things they've done.
Absolutely.
This solidifies the Muppets in the world as like, obviously they were huge with the Muppet Show.
That's true.
But showing that like, and we're popular with Baby Muppets, we're popular with this, we got Fraggle Rock. Like this feels like another flag planted in the world of, hey, we're coming for every hour of your day.
I would guess in terms of how much money it made them, this blew Fraggle Rock out of the water many, many times over.
I would imagine the merch opportunities were much, much better for Muppet Babies than Fraggle Rock.
Though Fraggle Rock is a far, far superior show. I guess when has that ever mattered?
Well, kicking off this episode, they are playing hide and seek, and I have a question for you, Sam.
Yeah.
Have you ever played the Ollie Ollie Oxen-free version of hide and seek?
One of the funnest memories of my entire life, honestly, was in high school, like middle high school. I grew up on a block with tons of kids, and a lot of the kids were younger. Like my brother was younger; he was probably in 7th grade at the time, or 6th grade even maybe. And all of us got together, probably like 15, 18 kids, and we played this version of hide and seek, where I think there were more than one person looking, but we were hiding and we had to like sneak through the neighborhood and try to get to the base. And once you touched the base, you were on, so it didn't do you any good really to like be super close to the base if you were the searcher or anything like that. Like you had to get tagged, but
right.
Yeah.
See,
So yes, but only once in my life.
I feel like I only ever played a version of you hid, you stayed in place, and then someone would have to come and find you in that place. Like you wouldn't get up and run away and try to get back to a base in any way.
Yeah. I wonder if maybe parents don't teach you that version of the game because hide and seek is like, just sit there for about 20 minutes and that's going to be great for everybody.
Because, in my brain, when I'm playing hide and seek, if I'm Fozzie and Gonzo runs past me, I'm like, found you.
There you are. I found you.
I see you. I seeked.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
So that, I feel like that's the most common version I see in media is the Ollie Ollie Oxenfree version, but I have never said or played an Ollie Ollie Oxenfree hide and seek.
We did not say Ollie Ollie Oxenfree, and I don't even know that we knew that was like a word associated with this version of tag, but yeah, I have played it once.
You said Fozzie isn't sad, but I did get the vibe in this section that he is the friend that they all would have just bailed on. Like they would have done on purpose what Animal did accidentally. They're like, Fozzie's hiding. Fozzie's the one trying to find us. Let's go.
He does take it really hard that he sucks so bad at hide and seek, which is fair because he takes it really hard. He sucks so bad at comedy. So I suppose he has his moments, but maybe it's really more like I don't think of him as so dumb that he screws stuff up.
Right.
When he's an adult, he's just a sad sack.
Well, and when he has bad ideas on things like the Muppet Show or the Muppet movies, it's usually not nonsense. It's kind of a joke, like he knows he's making a joke, or it's just kind of a bad idea that wouldn't work. But it's never like put me in a jar with centipedes bad.
Yeah, I guess in the Muppet Show he has a lot of harebrained schemes to get popular, or to like steal other people's jokes, or to like
but they're all
like
realistic. And I think like obviously he's a baby, but it's still weird when all the other baby friends are fine.
Yeah.
This episode is one that I think I remember watching as a kid because the cupcakes especially seemed very familiar to me. So they're trying to trap Animal, who is now missing. Piggy, flirting with Gonzo, asks him if he has any emergency cupcakes lying around and if she could have some to trap Animal. And these cupcakes, when he brings them out, and we see Fozzie later eating them, spoiler alert, all of that was just like pinging my brain as, you've seen this. You thought those cupcakes looked delicious.
I like that they're steaming hot, even though he just pulled them out of like, I don't know where he pulled them out of, but
dryer vent or something?
Yeah, maybe so. You're just asking to grow some bacteria on your cupcakes, but they probably are really moist.
But Piggy and Gonzo constantly flirting.
They got a little thing going on.
Way more than we've seen anything. We've seen maybe one little flirtatious moment between Kermit and Piggy at this point. But almost every episode has something between Gonzo and Piggy.
It seems like in this one, Kermit and Piggy they are dating. Like, they're a couple. And they've been a couple for their whole lives, apparently. Like, they're very comfortable with each other. And there's a moment where Kermit comes to Piggy's defense. And she knows she can ask him to do something and he will do it. So their relationship is rock solid. That's why she can open it up to start flirting with Gonzo. When they're adults, she'd rather puke than look at Gonzo. But she's got lower standards as a baby, I guess. But Gonzo's got it going on. I mean, that's what it is. Baby Gonzo's a cool guy, and she recognizes it.
She's impressed later on in life, she'd be like, oh, he drives a motorcycle, though. He's so cool. Kermit's doing our taxes.
Yeah. But Gonzo would drive his motorcycle like into a wall on purpose,
Which is, dangerous.
That's still
and sexy.
cool. Is that still cool? Oh, okay.
I feel like we learn a couple things about the world of Muppet Babies. One, the other Muppet Babies say Animal's just a baby.
That really stood out to me too, and I did notice once I started thinking about it. Aside from Rolf's diaper, which I think I can excuse because he's a dog.
And Nanny is not going to, help them out and let him out throughout the day.
Yeah, that's annoying. Maybe they're more Muppet toddlers, and Baby Animal is the only proper baby amongst them.
Yeah, I'm not sure when that line officially gets crossed from baby to toddler, but they seem like they're saying that they are older than Animal. But we also learn, they say, that we're not supposed to leave the nursery.
Yeah.
Which, lines up a little bit with your previous idea that they were trapped in there. But when they do leave the nursery and go down this long, big old hallway in this massive house, apparently.
It's a huge mansion, yeah.
We later find out Nanny has essentially left them alone for an hour unsupervised. And if these are like 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds, just being left alone for an hour unsupervised with like 10 of them in a room.
Yeah.
Bad nanny.
We've seen what happens. They always fall over and they always pile up their furniture and they always like destroy everything.
They go, again, spoilers for later in this episode, they fall down the laundry chute into the basement.
Yeah.
You don't want your kids doing that.
And I like when they're sneaking past her to get out into the house more.
Yeah.
And they like make a sound and she's like, what was that? Oh, well, you have a house full of fucking babies.
Yeah. You hear a mysterious noise and you go, never mind. I just got to watch my Westerns or whatever I'm watching.
She's watching Westerns. Yeah.
She also, in her hallway, has, I noticed, an umbrella stand with 3 umbrellas and a cane.
Oh.
Who else is living there?
What is this house?
The more I learn, the less I like about Nanny and her house.
Maybe it's like one of those haunted house movies and there's like a locked door upstairs and behind it there's just like a very old skeletal looking man, Maybe Nanny doesn't have an upper half. She's got arms. We see in the one with Scooter being sad, we see everything except her head. We see her neck even a little bit, I think.
That's true. You're right. Maybe she's got a Skeletor face then.
She probably does. Or just a perfectly smooth orb for a head.
Well, much like a horror movie, they decide to split up and go search for Baby Animal. The interesting group is Fozzie, Piggy, and Kermit. And the other group gets the B plot with Gonzo, Skeeter, Scooter, and Rolf.
I did write that I liked those guys better and would rather be hanging out with them.
Well, the writers disagreed with you and were like, yeah, we might think of a story for them. We'll decide later. Because for now, we get Fozzie, Piggy, and Kermit going into the Temple of Doom in the basement.
Yep.
And actual footage from the Temple of Doom. Again, a movie that just came out earlier in 1984. This movie wouldn't even be on VHS until 1986. So this is the first time that like people are able to see Temple of Doom stuff since they saw the movie in the theater.
Wow.
But Fozzie rightly notes this fantasy is rated PG and we're underage, so we gotta go.
Yes. PG-13 didn't exist quite yet, but because of this very movie.
Mm-hmm. And of course, this leads to our first sighting of Indiana Frog.
Is he a reoccurring
He
character?
is. Indiana Frog will come back time and time again.
Not a good name. I feel like they should have thought of a better name.
There's a few bad names, some great names also, but other ones where I'm just like, Double O Gonzo. Come on. That's nothing.
Leonardo da Frog.
I like Da Frog because he's the frog.
I guess so.
But like Kermit,
I guess that's kind of funny.
Kermit the Vinci might have been just as funny.
Yeah.
Either way, we get Indiana Frog and we get the villain from Temple of Doom, voiced by Frank Welker. Sounding
not the guy from the movie.
No. Sounding a lot like Dr. Claw here from Inspector Gadget, but also sounding like a number of Scooby-Doo villains because, of course, Frank Welker would also voice a lot of them.
That's just kind of the voice he does.
Yeah. Just big, scary, booming voice guy.
I was shocked to see this guy, honestly.
I was like, is he going to rip out Fozzie's heart?
Okay, here's my other discussion thing. I thought since I'll lose my mind if I don't come up with things for us to talk about with this.
Grasping at the straws here.
I'm going to try to make some games. I got some plans. But my other discussion point, how real is the peril that they're in? If Mola Ram or whatever got his hands on them, would they just snap back to reality? Or could they be consumed by their own imagination somehow?
In my head, it is 100% not real peril.
Yes. Okay. That's what I think too. But so there's a part in the Leonardo da Frog episode where he's plummeting to his death, and it's like, oh no, I'm plummeting to my death. Commercial break. What? You're just gonna trip or something. Like
they're small babies. You can't push a baby down.
Babies can fall. Yes, babies fall all the time and wang their heads right off of the ground, and they're fine. And these babies are made of felt.
Are they?
Oh no, I guess they might not be because
I don't think
they have
are.
legs. Uh-oh. Another question I have for another day is: are the Muppet Babies Muppets?
What?
Yeah.
Oh,
we'll talk about that later.
I get what you mean because the Muppets are puppets who kind of know they're puppets.
Yeah.
Whereas the
But
Muppet
these guys are
Babies
cartoon
seem to be living, breathing, walking around beings.
By their literal definition, I don't think they're Muppets because they're not puppets. Like, even Waldo squeaks in as a Muppet because he is controlled.
Oh,
Anyway.
yeah, I feel like we can do an entire episode about that.
Okay.
We'll have Brian J. Jones on and just be like, okay, sir, the only reason you're here today is we're going to talk about what defines a Muppet.
Yeah, you are destroying his health and sanity by trolling him online right now about Muppeteers.
I'm not the one who brought up the discussion. And I could not care less about which side of that debate people are on.
I'm firmly a Muppet performer guy.
I lean Muppet performer, but I also think Muppeteer is not inherently insulting.
It's not a crazy thing to assume that they're called either.
No. But, I do like poking at the people who take things too seriously sometimes.
You're hurting him.
Well, and I know that Brian J. Jones has mentioned he likes it all in good fun when he's arguing about it. Other people were legitimately very, very angry.
Yes, I saw that as well.
But yeah, I am fully in the side of who cares? If you ask Frank Oz, he cares a lot and constantly references elves when answering about it.
Okay, I'll have to look that up on my own time.
Yeah, there's a whole page on the word like Muppeteer on Muppet Wiki and like basically when it's been used and when it hasn't. The most prominent one is Carolee Wilcox wrote the word Muppeteer into some Fraggle Rock how-to guide things. And then people constantly refer to them as Muppeteers. Once somebody said something in an interview that we actually watched forever ago. It's the weird interview on Wonderama where we got like 30 seconds of it because Kermit's arm rod breaks and the guy has to help him fix it and they just go to commercial.
Right.
In that, the guy says to him, "Oh, the audience was just saying he's a great Muppeteer." And Kermit goes, "Yeah, that's true."
But Frank doesn't like Muppeteer.
Jim also apparently does not like it because he thought it was too gimmicky. The story from Brian J. Jones's book is that somebody sent a mock-up page of an ad I think Jim was going to be a part of, and it listed his occupation as Muppeteer, and he scratched out the term and wrote Muppet Performer.
Huh.
But Frank Oz, when asked about it in 2017, said, "We're not crazy about being called Muppeteers. It makes us sound like we're darling little elves, way too pejoratively cute." He then said in 2018, "I've never liked it. It makes us sound like little elves." In 2021, Oz winced when Henson and he were referred to as Muppeteers, firmly responding, "That makes us sound like Santa's elves. Performers is fine." So, Frank Oz hates elves.
He just doesn't want to be an elf. He maybe doesn't hate them. He just doesn't want to be one.
Sorry about the great Santa Claus switch there, Frank. But getting back to the Muppet Babies episode we're here to talk about today, they almost get squished and drowned. But Piggy rescues Fozzie and herself and Kermit by using his propeller hat like a drill to drill up through the sands.
Miss Piggy is one who is equal to as much as I like her as an adult Muppet, I feel like. Because she's basically the same exact character.
Scooter was my second choice for one that I dislike more as a baby than a human, as an adult Muppet. But he has different traits that are sometimes better on Muppet Babies, and he also doesn't have a lot going on up to where we are right now in the world of the Muppets.
He's a loser. I don't choose to acknowledge him as a valid Scooter at this moment.
All right. He does feel very different. He doesn't have those gopher tendencies.
No, he's not a little rat bastard.
Skeeter remembers, hey, Rolf's a dog, and maybe he could pick up animals' scent. Which he then also is reminded, oh yeah, I forgot I can do that.
I'm good at smelling.
But he isn't, it turns out, because he sniffs real long and hard and goes, I smell carpet shampoo.
That's not his fault.
I mean, I think
Rolf's
if he was a better,
blameless.
Rolf's
innocent.
bloodhound.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
He could see through the carpet shampoo.
That felt like a Jimmy Dean joke to me. Like, Jimmy would be like, let's go hunting, Rolf. You're my old hunting dog. And he'd be like, take a sniff. What do you smell? And he'd be like, your cheap cologne, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Okay, so I also just thought of something.
All right.
I hate when Skeeter goes to the plants and she's like, let's look in the plants. And Scooter's like, they're not plants. And then she's like, to me, it's a jungle. But I like it when Gonzo, especially this happens to him a lot, he'll fall into something going on. He'll open a door and there's a dinosaur. He'll look in the washing machine. That works for me so much better than like the hacky, like they could have just like climbed into the plants.
Yes.
I don't need them to spell it out for me.
Well, what's even worse is Scooter's bad improv skills because 99% of the time so far on the Muppet Babies, we see the kids fully buy into what the other kids are pretending in that moment. Whether they're drawing in the air with a light pencil or they're doing these other things, the kids immediately are like, oh no, look out, you're right, it's a pirate ship, or whatever it is. In this one, Skeeter's like, there's a jungle here, and Scooter's like, nah, I don't think so. It's just a plant. And it's like, come on, dude.
They are looking for their friend who they think is lost or dead. So maybe
right, but the other one just had a whole
realistic.
Temple of Doom minecart chase in the basement.
Yeah, but they're stupid.
This is one of those moments where I was like, I really wish they could figure out how to get all these characters in the same adventure together because this story is quite weak and pretty dull.
There's too many damn Muppet Babies.
There's a lot of them, and they didn't think about that before they started drawing them. There's like, I just gotta keep drawing. They're so cute. Oh no, too many.
They're so cute. Yeah, that's what it was. The problem. Once you start, you can't stop. What are you gonna do? Erase baby?
You can't
Rolf?
erase baby Rolf.
Absolutely not.
Choose which one you're gonna erase. I guess Skeeter's the obvious choice because she didn't exist before now, but we kind of need her for other reasons.
Yeah.
Well, we get a musical number in this episode called Best Friends. The song starts off slightly less 50s doo-wop-ish, and I was hopeful, but then the chorus kicks in, and it's just the soundtrack from American Graffiti all over again.
Did you have any problems with this song, Matt?
Not this song specifically. Did you?
I had a bit of a bone of contention. I don't think Han and Luke are best friends.
I did think that. I was waiting because they start off listing friends and they say Han Solo and I was like waiting for him to say Chewbacca and they say Luke.
If you asked Han Solo who his best friend was, there is no world in which he would say Luke Skywalker.
But if you ask Luke Skywalker who his best friend is, he's going to say Han Solo.
I love Han. Yeah, that's true. He would say that.
He's like, oh, Luke said that? Yeah.
R2 might be his best friend, but that's sad.
My computer's my best friend.
Yeah, you can't say
he's
that.
Scooter.
It is true, but you can't say it out loud.
Well, back in the A story, this is where they follow the Crawl Prince and discover Animal Mummy.
Okay, what's your
Now.
theory here?
Okay, so we get Gonzo right after this, stuck in the laundry chute. And they decide the way to help him is to push him down the laundry chute. And then they all follow him into the basement. So now all the Muppets have fallen. They're in the basement. I guess, Fozzie, Piggy, and Kermit were already down there. In my head, we see a mummy animal chasing them. In my head, Animal fell down the laundry chute, is covered in laundry, and is chasing them, and they think he's a scary monster.
Exactly. The obvious thing that would happen.
Yeah, because why is he in this fantasy? Well, he should just be like a Scooby-Doo mummy. Like, he should be a large human man mummy, if anything.
I don't know if they had standards and practices kind of things back then, but it is possible that they said, we can't have... Well, no, because all the other kids fell in the laundry chute, so they could have a baby in a
And they
laundry
also just
chute.
had Temple of Doom. So I feel like standards
that's
and
true.
practices were a little loose on the show.
I think that's true. I don't think they existed yet, is my guess. But
Well, anyways, Nanny is a terrible nanny. And all the babies are now in the basement crying because once again, they feel like one of their friends is gone forever.
yeah.
It seems like, at least every few episodes, these babies have a breakdown because they think one of their friends is dead or just left, run away from home.
A giant furnace in the basement as well, so they shouldn't be down there.
No, don't let your babies climb down the laundry chute.
Don't let them be anywhere near your furnace, please.
No. So Kermit is the brave one. Unsurprisingly, he steps up and decides, I'm going to tell Nanny the truth. We lost Animal. But it turns out Animal has been with Nanny this entire time because an hour ago, she says, he crawled out of the nursery and climbed up on her lap, and they've just been watching TV ever since. Which means Animal must have been there when they walked by earlier and she heard the noise when Scooter fell over.
So yeah, she sucks.
Bad Nanny. And the episode's over.
I also wonder, I don't know, are the babies allowed to go out there and watch TV? Like if they all had gone out, would she have been like, no.
We
You
saw
all
them
get
watching
back in
TV
there.
last time, but they had a TV in their own room.
Yeah, but are they allowed out in the rest of the house?
We'll find out.
I mean,
They had breakfast out there.
That's true.
In this next episode we're about to talk about, they have breakfast out in the kitchen. Well, the next episode was on October 13th, 1984. This is the episode Scooter's Hidden Talent, also written by Jeffrey Scott. At the beginning, the Muppet Babies are all eating breakfast. It seems like everyone's just getting cereal, but for some reason, Fozzie has eggs at the very beginning.
I noticed that. Maybe it's because he's a carnivore.
Yeah, a
Oh,
bear
no,
needs protein.
Bears are omnivores, I suppose. But
Well, regardless,
she likes Fozzie best.
Yeah, Gonzo steals the eggs from him and then catapults them onto Fozzie's face. Rolf gets Kibble Krispies, clearly a dog separate from the other Muppets.
What an interesting compulsion to be like. Ralph's always, that's just always how it's been. He's just always been a dog, and they've treated him like a dog.
But they're not like,
Kermit
here's
can eat
your
whatever.
bowl of slop, piggy.
Yeah, here's your flies. Like, Kermit has talked about eating flies, but he doesn't have to eat flies.
Right. And Officer Crothers then calls to wish Nanny a happy birthday.
Mr. Carruthers.
Oh, yes, sorry. Yes, Mr. Crothers at this point.
We don't know the status of his...
Maybe this is
of
them
his
becoming closer
deputization.
friends.
She's in love with Mr. Carruthers.
Wow, that's even a bigger leap.
Please call me Mr. Carruthers.
All right, Mr. Crothers, you can call me Nanny. At this point, the Muppet Babies do realize it is Nanny's birthday, and they're like, but how old is Nanny? Skeeter guesses that Nanny is 100, but Gonzo insists 200 because he counted the rings on her socks.
Not how many rings are on her socks.
No,
I
but
guess
he's a baby. He can't count.
That can't always be your excuse for them, Matt.
I think it's the excuse of the show, not me. So the kids set off to make her a present. And I love how much of this show so far has been all right, everyone, we know what we're going to do. Let's go do it. And then it cuts immediately to them sitting around going, oh my God, what are we going to do?
We don't have any ideas.
It's happened a few times now where there's like, all right, everyone, don't panic. It's going to be fine. Cut to everyone freaking out. Well, casual Nanny rolls on into the nursery in her sweatpants and sneakers. So
I'm going jogging. Just call out the window if you need me. What?
Such a bad nanny. I'm going jogging, kids. Open up the window and yell if you need me. That's not how nannying works, Nanny.
That's not how jogging works either. You're going to be far away.
Yeah, are you just jogging around the house? And yeah, unfortunately for her, not for the kids who do need supervision, it starts to storm and rain outside. And she says, one of these days I'll have to buy an exercise bike. And Piggy goes, oh, I'm the smart one. We should make an exercise bike.
This feels like a situation where it's like, you're writing the show. You don't have to make it be something so stupid. They could be making it something not really stupid.
Why is it really stupid?
Because it's so impossible to build. First of all, it's boring. What kid is going to be like, today the Muppet Babies built Nanny an exercise bike? Second of all, I don't remember. I knew I had a second of all. Mostly just it's boring.
I think it's just it's a tool to get us to the real point of the episode because it does happen so quickly in the episode that you're kind of confused as to where the rest of this episode is going to go because they build the bike pretty quickly after we do get to see a little bit of old school Gonzo personality here. He gets thrown off the prototype exercise bike and they're like, Gonzo, are you okay? Is the bike working? He's like, it works perfectly. Like, he's still very into getting hurt.
Love that guy. Yeah.
And so he says to wrap up the bike, and Animal starts to rip up Gonzo's Captain Incredible comic book, maniacally laughing and saying, rip, rip, as Gonzo tells him not to.
This caused me a bit of distress because Gonzo did seem really sad.
And no one else cared. They continued to
Piggy
rip it up.
Piggy was just like collecting the pages, being like, fuck you little freak.
Yeah, good job, Animal. It was more surprising to me that didn't go anywhere. That like everyone was just like, yeah, that's okay.
Just torture Gonzo for a second. Whatever.
And so Nanny comes in to open her gift, but she doesn't know what it is. And this feels like this should be like the end of the episode when you're watching it. It feels like they've raced along to like, oh yeah, okay, cool. They built an exercise
because they made the
bike.
episodes too damn long.
But turns out Nanny starts talking to the Muppet Babies and they start listing off what everyone did. And you start to realize, wait a minute, Scooter made a little note earlier that he didn't get to do anything. And now he's very sad because he didn't get to help. And he says, I'm not talented. I'm just a nerd.
I also made note of that. A very funny line.
He's got a couple good ones in this. And so somehow, again, as you mentioned earlier, Nanny just decides to walk away from this situation.
She brings the bike with her, too. She's like, I'm going to go use this piece of shit.
Well, and from what she says later, it sounds like she did, in fact, try to use it.
Broke immediately.
Yeah. So Kermit steps in to help out Scooter where Nanny failed. But somehow this turns into, hey, did I ever tell you about my ancestor, Leonardo da Frog? And so we cut back to Italy in the Renaissance days, and Leonardo da Vinci Frog is taking his helicopter out for a quick trip to find something interesting to paint.
This has nothing to do with Scooter's problem in any capacity.
And if anything, it ends up being worse than doing nothing. Because as he's flying around, he runs into Gonzo Angelo, who is sculpting his great uncle, who they mess it up, and it turns into David.
Yep. And
then Leonardo crashes and meets Mona Piggy, who wants him... Bad
Mona
name.
Piggy.
Yeah, not great.
Now Gonzo Angelo.
Gonzo Angelo. Every time they give Gonzo a name, it's usually Italian for some reason, which is interesting.
Yeah, right.
But they always combine his name with like an Italian last name. Well, Mona Piggy insists that Leonardo da Frog paints her, and this is supposed to be part of the inspirational story for Scooter, but really what this is just, a lesson in capitalism for Scooter. Of sometimes you want to be an artist, but really you got to paint when people tell you to paint sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's how this story ends for Scooter. it's supposed to be maybe about getting inspiration from weird sources, but really it's about this lady yelled at me and said I had to paint her, so I did.
And then I'm a really good painter, so it turned out great for me.
And this is about the moment where I put, maybe Scooter's not interesting enough to lead a whole episode. Because I didn't hate the episode at all, but the bad song, the go nowhere story, the episode feeling like it wrapped up 10 minutes in, I'm like, yeah, this feels like you're just kind of doing a lot of, I guess we'll do this now because we have nothing else for Scooter.
And I think another here's my other reason why it shouldn't be an exercise bike, because Scooter would be top notch at building an exercise bike. We've seen him do this kind of thing already so many times, so it feels glaring that them inventing something wouldn't involve him using his computer. He wouldn't think of that, and it should have been like maybe Fozzie didn't know what he could do to help or something. Yeah,
or make it not an exercise bike because Scooter's only thing we know about him is specifically targeted towards engineering type of tasks.
Yeah.
And so, if Fozzie is like, I can tell good jokes, but how does that help build a bike? Might be a little bit more helpful there. But yeah, then the episode becomes fully about trying to find Scooter's hidden talent. And he decides that it's manual dexterity.
Oh, words kids know for sure, right?
Of course. And he says, I could build anything with these hands. He didn't even build the bike. But he does build a hell of a house of cards.
Yeah.
Which Animal then destroys. And then immediately he's like, ugh, I'm so bad at this. It's
somehow that's his fault.
You were great at it. You built the biggest house of cards I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And just because your baby friend knocked it down, you're like, ugh, I guess I'm bad at building houses of cards that stand up forever. Like, what was your goal?
And then when things are just at their lowest, who comes with drift into a goddamn window?
It's Bunsen and Beaker flying in their self-propelled hot breath blimp. Beaker blows into a horn that blows up the balloon, and that brings their blimp in through the Muppet Babies window.
Yeah, and the millisecond he stops breathing into it, they crash.
Yeah.
So great invention, idiot. Balloons, famous for the only thing they're good at, and they're not even that good at it, is holding air in. Can't figure it out.
I mean, Bunsen also famously known for his not great inventions that harm Beaker.
I suppose, yeah. It does make me a little mad when Bunsen's like, I invent great stuff in Muppet Babies, when it's like, actually, the whole point of you is that you invent stupid, bad stuff that hurts everybody.
Well, this is about the time when Nanny brings her bike back in, confused as to why it's not working.
It's so funny because Babies built it.
It's got egg beaters for pedals.
It doesn't work.
It's like, I don't know what happened, guys. You built me a great exercise bike and it just doesn't work, Babies. Fix it.
And I love that the Babies just like descend on it like a horde of zombies. They're just like, okay, we'll fix it. Because it's like there's an unreliable narrator up until this part where it's like, oh yeah, it turned out they were really stupid the whole time.
But this is the moment when Scooter does realize, oh, I can fix this.
I have a computer.
He brings up a computer model of the bike and then just kind of twists one of the pedals a little bit, and it's all fixed. So, Scooter's hidden talent is figuring things out on his computer, something we all do now.
Which we all know because of the opening credits.
And
maybe
Scooter
try a little harder next time.
Knows because he's done it multiple times already in the last 3 episodes we watched.
Yeah, he's actually obnoxious about it.
And at the end of the episode, Gonzo addresses us. While looking for his talent, he thinks it might be in his mouth, so he looks out at the audience and says he'll open wide and we can let him know what we see. And then he eats the camera, essentially.
Yep, because you gotta end it somehow, I guess.
We get that twice in this batch, in this episode and the next episode. They're like, I guess the guy's going to turn to the camera and say a thing. But in this...
Hopefully Gonzo's done beating the shit out of himself after 1 week.
Well, the next episode of Muppet Babies is The Case of the Missing Chicken from October 20th, 1984. Gonzo is the ticket taker here at a circus, the Dingaling Brothers Circus that we learned later.
That's what he said. Okay.
I had to watch it like 4 times to learn what he said. But interestingly, as Gonzo is trying to sell tickets, Rolf has to barter a baseball card.
And nobody else has to.
Nope. Yeah, he offers up a baseball card for a ticket, and Gonzo's like, that works. But then Fozzie, Scooter, and Skeeter just walk up and get tickets.
He knows a sucker when he sees one.
Yeah, but Piggy walks up and flirts again with Gonzo to get her way in for free.
So she has got a record, and she's like, I can't give up my record. And he's like, okay, you can get in for a little kiss on the cheek or whatever. And then she shoves a record onto his finger and like smashes his head into the record and spins it around and plays it with his nose. I thought that was great.
It's very good.
That's a great thing to happen to Gonzo.
Well, and he's convinced that she loves him. Because he goes, she gave me her favorite record.
It is fun to see Miss Piggy actually capable of some of these feats of extreme violence and strength.
Right.
I kind of like that aspect of it.
I think it's funny how when we're having these discussions about this episodes, how little we say Kermit's name.
Kermit doesn't do jack shit.
He doesn't do a lot. He comes in and like he's the voice of reason a lot of times, but he's not actually motivating a lot of the stories so far.
Yeah. He's pretty boring. I couldn't think of what problem he would ever have even. Like,
Yeah. Well, here he is the ringmaster at the circus, Fozzie's the clown, and Gonzo's the human cannonball. Animal is a lion, while Kermit is also the lion tamer. And everything just kind of goes wrong in a Bug's Life style explosion where everything happens at once. And they all sort of explode, and somehow at the end of it, Kermit's head is stuck inside of a can. It's a true body horror moment in Muppet Babies. At the very end, after everything's exploded and fallen down, his eyes are on top of a tin can, and his head is just squished inside of it.
they love squishing Kermit's head in different shapes.
It's very good. It's another. It's the runner-up right now for my favorite frame of Muppet Babies.
I would love if you could get the animation cell of Kermit's inflated head.
Yeah, they sell cells online often, but not of either of those moments that I've seen. Well, after the explosions, we find out that Camilla is missing, which it would have been nice if we had seen or referenced Camilla at all before the circus started.
You kind of have to establish what Camilla looks like, who Camilla is.
Yeah. It's like a reverse Chekhov's gun, where it's like, oh, hey, by the way, I had a gun earlier. I'm going to shoot it now.
Anybody see my gun?
Yeah. Oh, you didn't see my gun earlier? Well, I have it now, and that's what's important. Gonzo first assumes, because Nanny comes in and it's lunchtime, and she mentions that she made chicken, that Nanny made Camilla into lunch.
This was horrifying to me, because it did make me think too hard about how Piggy's an animal you can eat too. And just like, I don't know. The Muppets have always existed in this kind of like...
They could eat Piggy if they wanted to.
Think that very... Yeah.
That's why they all eat cereal at breakfast, because they can't have traditional breakfast foods.
Nobody can have bacon. None of them lay eggs, though, except Kermit's mom.
Maybe Gonzo. We don't know.
We actually don't know anything about what comes out of Gonzo. That's true.
Piggy points out that Camilla is stuffed. Another, drawing a line in the sand between Muppets and real Muppet Babies and stuffed animals.
Yeah.
And so they are going to put up some flyers to find Camilla. And so they get on Scooter's computer, which you remembered he knows how to use this time.
Yeah.
And
I wrote, this guy's obsessed with his computer.
And
probably every day he's like, remember my computer, guys?
I can do that on my computer. And he asks for a description of Camilla, and Gonzo says, tall blonde hair and blue eyes. So we see a sexy lady.
Sexy lady.
Sexy lady on the computer.
That got my antennas up.
Need a net nanny in here.
Yeah, they do. They need the V-chip. Remember the V-chip?
Yeah. Well, once they eventually, thanks to Fozzie, surprisingly, get a correct description of Camilla and a correct image, Gonzo suddenly turns into a detective who suspects everyone. And he convinces himself and Fozzie that Fozzie must have stolen Camilla. And we get a very weird, I don't know what this is, Goodfellas-esque
child endangerment story.
Yeah. Where he, was going to steal Camilla in order to become famous?
Yes.
And then they're in
he does steal
a
Camilla
chicken version of New York.
Uh-huh.
Where
he has this kidnapped child. Mm-hmm. He's parading this kidnapped child around town, putting her up on stage for stage shows and then getting chased by the police for kidnapping a child, which he fully admits to having done. This is what your kids are imagining, Nanny?
But yeah, in this fantasy, Camilla can talk and walk and perform and is able to steal Fozzie's job as the host of the Captain Kangarooster show.
Yeah, these are the jokes, folks.
These are the jokes. And we see Fozzie imagining himself going to Alcatraz, a place that I saw this weekend.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Did they put you in one of the cages?
No, I didn't take the tour. I did that previously. I took a boat cruise around Alcatraz.
Cool. Did you see Ant-Man?
Yeah, he was there. He was hanging out.
Came out of the water real big. Hey, guys.
Yeah, he's always there. He's the official mascot of San Francisco.
Yeah, after that third movie, they're not letting him do much else.
No, why don't you go back to the simple stuff? Just be giant in the water for a while. Piggy, maybe concerningly says, Fozzie, we know you didn't do it. You're not the criminal type, which raised too many questions of what Piggy thinks the criminal type is. But Gonzo then launches into a song called Camilla, which is maybe one of my favorite Muppet Babies songs so far.
Yeah, this was okay.
He's dressed like Elvis, but of course he's singing 50s doo-wop, folks.
Nothing like an Elvis song. Oh, yeah. My brain was trying really hard to be like, I guess maybe this could be an Elvis song. No.
But after the song is done, Gonzo finds one of Camilla's feathers, which he immediately assumes this means she's being tortured somewhere because he says they're pulling out her feathers to make her talk. And Piggy says, Camilla can't talk, and even if she could, who would care what she had to say?
It's one of the meanest things Miss Piggy's ever said, animated or not.
Yeah. But Gonzo does think a spy has gotten Camilla for some reason.
These kids think a lot of things, so you can't.
They're babies.
They're babies.
But really, this is just an excuse to give us a combination James Bond, Mission Impossible fantasy sequence. Gonzo, or 00 Gonzo, is on a boat surrounded by chicken babes. And he needs to find Camilla, so he goes to Bunsen and Beaker to get his gadgets, which is maybe...
Did you notice the way he got there?
Mm-mm.
He drives to, like, what's the castle called that the queen lives in?
Buckingham Palace, and she definitely doesn't anymore.
He, like, he, like, drives to Buckingham Palace or whatever in his boat. His boat has tires on the bottom of it. He pulls up, like, on his yacht.
Did not notice that. But Bunsen and Beaker, this may be the best use of them so far. Mm-hmm. They're the gadget
just
guys.
Them being normal.
Yeah, and Bunsen has made gadgets that specifically hurt Beaker, which is a thing he does all the time.
Which is great. You know what kind of makes me sad? For some reason, that Beaker's never changed in his entire life. Like, Beaker's life began as being tortured by Bunsen. There was nothing, like, different or weird about him. Like, I feel like the Muppet Babies all kind of have, like, their own fun thing going on. But Beaker just still's beacon. He's just going beep, beep, beep and getting tortured. And that's just been his whole life.
I feel like maybe, Muppet Christmas Carol, he gets a little bit more of a personality.
That's
he's,
true.
Like, collecting funds for the orphans.
Yes, these days they have a much more of a like a relationship, like a they're like cute together. Yeah. But at this point, he's just
being tortured
for his whole life. Yeah.
And then we get to meet Octopiggy.
Octopiggy, though. Anyway,
Octopiggy's one of those where I'm like, oh, okay, I guess we'll
there
just.
Must have been other ladies named other stuff in other James Bonds.
Money Piggy.
That's way better. Even though that's a good guy. Who gives a shit?
See, I don't know anything about James Bond. I just assumed Money Penny was bad because it was a weird name.
No, she's like his fun assistant.
But does she turn on him at some point?
No.
Okay.
Money Penny is the one woman who he's in love with, who he won't sleep with. So that's her whole joke is just like, because she like work in the same office. So he's just like, no way.
Well, yeah, she still could have been Money Piggy. But instead she is Octopiggy for the adults in the room to sit back and go, really? You did that one? Interesting.
Great. I'm going to hope my kid doesn't ask what that means.
Yeah, who's Octopiggy? Just an original character created for this show. But Octopiggy is accused of not only stealing the chicken, but also stealing the president's socks.
Honestly, she could have been Piggy Galore.
Piggy Galore is not bad.
Pussy galore.
I mean, it's the
But
same
that's-
joke, though.
Same joke, but better. At least it's more funny, right?
And it also plays a little bit on something that, like, I don't want to endorse, but they don't avoid, is a little bit of, like, fat shaming Piggy. Piggy galore. Like, there's a lot of Piggy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
If only we were in the room.
I guarantee you all of these were tossed out, and they said, I think Octopiggy's probably the winner. But then we find out that the secret button that was on Gonzo's fancy tricycle that Bunsen told him never to hit, well, they accidentally hit it, of course, and it just makes a volcano explode.
And that's how he ends up skiing. Is that right?
I think the skiing actually comes before that. I think the volcano is the very last thing. Once he catches up to her after the ski chase, they tussle and bump into the button. The volcano explodes, and then they just get out of the fantasy segment.
Why does he say, I stole this move? So she says, you stole that move from James Bond about skiing. It makes the volcano blow up. That's so fucking weird. I didn't even notice that the first time. Mm-hmm. And then he says, I stole this move from Michael Jackson. And then he just kind of jumps at her.
He does like a little, does he spin or move weirdly? I also was confused. Because, he doesn't do like a moonwalk backwards
says,
to steal
I stole this
something.
move from Michael Jackson and then lunges at her. Nothing special.
Because I'm a smooth criminal. I don't know.
I guess. I don't know. I do feel like the animator, like they forgot to storyboard the part where he like...
Yeah, and then
maybe
Gonzo does a Michael Jackson dance, and they're like, oh, that's too hard. Just make him jump.
He'll just jump, yeah. Michael Jackson surely
He could have said Michael Jordan.
Yeah, Michael Jordan wasn't a thing yet, was he?
He was a famous jumper.
In 1984?
It's about when he was getting his start.
1984. He started playing for the Bulls in 84.
Yeah, there we go. See? Could have been I learned this
but he was
from Michael
the third,
Jordan.
But he was the third overall draft pick, so he wasn't really like
he wasn't the Michael Jordan at that point. No.
Yeah.
But it's more Michael Jordan than Michael Jackson.
I did kind of like Piggy's reasoning for... Okay, so this was clearly written... This dream sequence was written to not involve Camilla at all. Because Piggy stole the president's socks and put them on Camilla. Whatever. But what she wanted to do was hang the president's socks on the stocking. Hang the president's socks like stockings on Christmas because Santa would give the president better gifts than Piggy would get, which is pretty good. I think that's a pretty good plan. Yeah.
But there was also a note in there where Gonzo accuses Piggy of stealing Camilla to get her out of the way so that Piggy could have Gonzo all to herself.
Oh, great. Yes.
I did like when that is happening at the end of the fantasy, Gonzo goes to attack Piggy, essentially, when he accuses her of taking it. And Rolf tackles Gonzo like a bodyguard. Like, it comes out of nowhere. Like, Gonzo's like, I'm going to get you. And Rolf's just like, I got him. Well, the episode ends because Gonzo goes to pack up and explore the world searching for Camilla. And that's when he doesn't really discover, but he accidentally discovers that Camilla was in the drawer the whole time because that's where he put her, so he wouldn't forget where he put her. And then after that, Kermit turns to the camera as Gonzo is beating himself up and says, don't worry about it.
Goes to a mirror and says, you did it, and then starts punching himself.
Yeah, so Kermit turns to us and says, don't worry about Gonzo. He'll be fine by next week, I hope.
Or he'll beat himself to death.
But that does it for this batch of Muppet Babies, which, I mean, I'm still enjoying and don't think is pure evil. And Sam seems to be maybe warming up to it a little bit.
Honestly, what I like better is talking about Muppet Babies. It's more fun than I was expecting.
All right, well, that's good because we have a lot more Muppet Babies to talk about.
I know. I forgot how many seasons there were, and then I clicked on the folder, and I saw how many, and I was like, oh, no. Oh, no.
Yeah.
So we'll have to figure this out. Because can you imagine? After 8 or whatever seasons of the Muppet Babies, we're just like, then baby Scooter.
They're babies. Come on,
Sam. He fell on his butt again.
Yeah, no, I think we'll latch on to some of their traits and histories that come to light and learn more about Nanny as a person. But for now, it's time for a thankfully brief Muppet of the Week.
Who's left? Who could be left? One of the fruits or something? A vegetable?
This week's Muppet of the Week is Brewster.
Ew. No. Okay. Go.
Thankfully, very little to say about Brewster. He's the wise old guru featured in some of the mid to late 70s Muppet projects, who debuted in the 1974 Muppets Valentine Show and would go on to appear in the Herb Alpert special, The Muppet Show Sex and Violence. He was on Cher's TV show. He was in the one-to-one Julie Andrews special and a handful of Muppet Show episodes, thankfully mostly in the first season. And then...
Yeah, kind of also a different characteristics and everything in all of those appearances.
Correct. Early on in the Valentine show, he's kind of like just a southern old timer talking about kids these days don't know what to do. And then eventually he got a more, racist accent, vaguely like Middle Eastern-ish, not a good, clear accent, and also not something Dave Goelz, the performer, should have probably been doing. But he doesn't have it all the time, and so it's just inconsistent as well. It's not even like they didn't commit to the racism. They just...
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, so there, again, is not a lot to say about Brewster, and thankfully he went away pretty quickly. Muppets Character Encyclopedia also doesn't have a lot to say about him. They mostly comment on his beard and eyebrows, and those just being long, essentially. It says he was the first runner-up for Best Eyebrows at a facial hair festival. And says that you can't tell where his hair stops and his beard begins, which is...
Maybe just omit this page,
Yeah. Maybe there had to be an even number of pages, and they were like, I guess Brewster.
Yeah.
But that is all there is to really learn about Brewster. But the one thing I sort of realized in piecing this together of when Brewster sort of starts to disappear... His performer is Dave Goelz. Gonzo killed Brewster.
Thank God. Gonzo, bless you.
Because Gonzo came around and started to become good and popular, they were probably like, yeah, Dave's got a good character, though, so we'll just keep him on Gonzo.
There's a darker world where Brewster became the breakout character.
There's a much darker world where that is the case.
Yeah.
Thankfully, we do not live in that world.
It could always get worse, folks.
So... what would you rate Brewster?
I mean, he sucks.
He sucks a lot.
I don't remember why I hate him so much. Except for that when he's racist, definitely.
I think he was dull and racist. Like, I think there was just... they kept bringing him into those panel discussion sketches, which also weren't great.
Yes.
And so it was just a bad mix of things.
Of all those early guys, like Mildred, she's okay. Miss Hilda, I think she should have stuck around.
Yeah.
George, he has a gimmick. Brewster's got jack shit. Brewster gets a 2.
Ooh.
He looks fine. He's like a fine puppet, but which is why that's the only reason I'm conflicted. He looks pretty good.
He does have moving eyelids, which is a trait that,
Right.
a lot of Muppets have.
Right.
So you know what? For that, I will give him a 2 as well. I was going to give him a 1, but the moving eyelids get him a 2. Before we get out of here, what non-Muppet things did you have a chance to enjoy this week?
Last night, it just erased every other thing I've ever done. I watched this movie called Waxwork 2, Lost in Time. I have never seen Waxwork 1.
Of course.
So this movie
Bruce Campbell.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the part. Okay, so this movie stars Zach Galligan, who's the lead of Gremlins.
All right.
He is, I can't remember that guy's name in Gremlins. You would never know it because he's got no charisma and is horrible in this movie. And at first you're just like, what is this movie? But then, so it's like about these two kids who are trying to, there's a boy and a girl. The girl is accused of murder because a severed hand beat her stepdad. It's kind of a horror movie. Beat her stepdad to death with a hammer. And so she gets accused of the murder, and everybody in the courtroom is like, she's for some reason says that, a cut off hand beat my stepdad to death with a hammer. And everybody in the court's like, no way. So then they decide to jump through time and reality to find another severed hand so that they can clear her name of this murder. But the times that they jump into and the things that they jump into are all pastiches of horror movies. Okay. So they jump into Alien, they jump into Frankenstein, they jump into Dracula, they jump into The Haunting of Hill House, which is the Bruce Campbell part. Is like, I would have watched a whole movie like about that because they're in a haunted house and it's filmed so well. Like you would really think it was a 60s movie because Bruce Campbell does a great job of being like a 60s guy. Marina Sirtis, who is Counselor Troy from Star Trek, is also in that part. And she is like the like femme fatale kind of like creepy medium, and she does a great job, but it's also really funny. So there's like a part where Bruce Campbell spends most of it flayed open with his his rib cage exposed.
All
and at one
right.
point he's like lashed to a thing because the ghosts are torturing him. But then Billy Peltzer, that's his name, Billy Peltzer from Gremlins, comes in and saves him, but he accidentally knocks him on the ground, and then he picks him back up, and his like chest is full of dirt. So for the rest of the scene, Billy Peltzer's like talking to him, but also like picking dirt and rocks out of his rib cage, and it's making like goofy sounds. And then Bruce Campbell's going, "Oh, that's okay, my boy. It's fine. No need to apologize. Accidents happen." And it was so funny, and it was one of the best Bruce Campbell performances I've ever seen, honestly.
I feel like he's very good at playing a guy within he's in the movie The Majestic with Jim Carrey. He plays like a 30s action movie star in that.
Yeah.
He's very, very good in that.
Yeah, it's like the only time when I've ever seen a guy pretending to be a guy from a different time, and I thought, this would not be weird if I turned on a movie and Bruce Campbell was in it. Like, this works so
Right.
well. But it was so fun. It kind of drags a little bit at the end until the very end when they start running. They're like having a sword fight through like 10 different movies. There's a part where they kick Jack the Ripper into Nosferatu. And Nosferatu is threatening the little girl from E.T. What's her name? Drew Barrymore. Yeah. He's trying to drink Drew Barrymore's blood. Then Jack the Ripper gets kicked in, and they're both like, "What the fuck?" It was great. It was so fun.
All right.
And then at the end, Matt, there's a rap.
Oh, no.
A custom rap for the movie.
Of course, like Addams Family style.
Exactly. Filmed on the sets from the movie.
That was
And
the
it's a
early
guy-
90s. You had
And
to.
the guy who's rapping was obviously very fixated on the Jack the Ripper part because he just has like multiple verses about the Jack the Ripper part, which is like 1 second of the
Right.
movie. It's amazing.
Yeah,
When
they
that
just
rap
showed him the
started, I
movie
was
and he
just
was like, remembered the end of it. He's like, I got it. I'm good.
Yeah. When the rap started, I was like, I salute you, movie. This is great. Waxworks 2, Lost in Time. You do not have to watch Waxworks 1. I mean, it makes it almost better because there's so much reference to Waxworks 1. You're like, I guess this would mean something to me, but I don't care that it doesn't. Yeah. Anyway, what did you watch?
I also had a sequel because I dove into Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah. I had my trip out of town this past weekend, so I played on the plane there and back. I still have not gotten very far into the game because it's a very large game.
Yeah.
But I am off of the Great Sky Island, so
Didn't it feel so good to jump off that thing?
it felt very good.
Yeah.
I was instantly like, did I forget something up there? Or like miss something up there?
You can go back.
Yeah. But I instantly wanted to go back and be like, I probably should have looked around a little bit more.
Yeah. That game, I'm still working my way through it. I'm still feeling like everywhere I go, someone is like, find 1,000 of these. And it's like, no, I can't find 1,000 of these. I have to find Zelda. And I was really resisting going into the underworld because it's scary.
Yeah.
But then I went down there and I was like, whoa, this is cool. I don't think I like it as much as Breath of the Wild, but I feel like it has such a good feeling of you live here and like everybody knows you, which is great.
Yeah. It's interesting because I think like that was my first thought when it feels cool to dive down to the mainland and like start walking around. And there is that like, I think I know where I am a little bit. Like things look a little different, whatever. But I also had that moment of like, then why do I want to play this?
Yeah, exactly.
I've been here. I've already conquered this land. Why do I care?
But another thing I like about it is that it doesn't even tell you what you're trying to do for the most part. Like everybody in the whole game is like, we have no fucking idea what's going on. Link, will you just like help us figure it out maybe? And Link's like, yeah. And then you go to places and they're like, we have no fucking idea what's going on. We trust you to figure it out, I guess. But it just feels like it's like a fun mystery almost. Like that's the mode. Like that's how I'm playing it, is just being like, I have no idea still what is happening, where Ganondorf is, if Ganondorf's even around. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. I do not know. I've not been down to the depths yet. I got plenty of those, light up flowers just in case I do suddenly end up down there.
Yeah.
I like attaching stuff to arrows and throwing those things at people, but the building of vehicles and stuff still hasn't quite clicked with me, of like building devices.
Let me tell you something. Later on, you're going to unlock a thing where you can automatically spawn vehicles.
Okay.
So I wouldn't worry about that too much.
Okay. Because right
All
now
you're
I'm
gonna
just
need
like,
to do is
I
make
put
hot air balloons.
these wheels on this board and it got me about 10 feet further that direction. Cool.
It's way better in the depths because there's a lot of stuff just sitting around down there. And it's very like flat but bumpy. So like you'll go and crazy stuff will happen, but you'll still be like, okay, I'm closer to my place than I was before.
All right.
So don't worry about it in the overworld, I guess is what I would say.
Gotcha. Well, we did it, Sam.
We finished Commitment. This is the last episode.
We're stopping in the middle of season 1 of Muppet Babies. No, that can't be true because here in my episode outline it says that next time we'll be watching episodes 7, 8, and 9 of Muppet Babies season 1.
No.
And those are titled 8 Take Away 1 equals Panic.
Okay.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
Oh.
And Close Encounters of the Frog Kind.
We know they're all going to be losers when they grow up. So I'd like to see what they think they're going to be.
Yeah, what their hopes and dreams were before they got crushed.
Yeah.
Do you think, I'm just putting this out there, do you think Fozzie will picture himself as Johnny Carson?
Ooh. And he'll do the golf swing?
Yeah. Or he'll be at the desk with like Gonzo as Ed McMahon or something.
I bet he'll be at the desk. I bet that makes sense. It'd be funny if the episode was 10 seconds long and they were like, vaudeville entertainer. Oh, yeah, me too, vaudeville entertainer. Oh, weird, interesting, me too, vaudeville entertainer.
What if we had a theater? Well, we're a bit too young for that, so let's just stay here and pretend for a few more years.
I'll write that down and we'll get back to it.
And again, if you want to find those, you can get them on archive.org, and we'll post the links on our Twitter, Instagram, Threads, wherever the hell we are now. We'll post the links to those so you can watch along with us. But we need to thank our friend Tuna for making the music for this podcast and Cassie Wilson for singing our theme song. Don't forget to go to commitmentstuff.com if you want to pick up some sweet commitment merch. You can also email us at mail@commitment.com if you have any questions or links to secret, unseen, Muppety things that the internet may be keeping from us. You can also follow this podcast everywhere that I mentioned earlier, Twitter, Instagram, Threads, @CommitmentPod. And you can follow me at Matthew Gatos.
And I'm Sam Schultz.
And as always, keep believing.
Keep pretending.